So hi Priyanka, welcome to
Rini.
the Progressive. So what according to you is sustainable architecture?
Sustainable, if you see the literal meaning of the word, it starts with stopping and using carefully. So, sustainable, right, would be so whatever you're taking from the earth, if you could just not destroy it in the process and use the things mindfully, that would be sustainability. And adding to the sustainable scenario is climate control.
Yes.
Adding to the sustainable scenario is net zero building on the bigger picture. So these are all small, small steps leading to one common thing, that we are living on this planet and we should try to conserve it, preserve it, and use it in the most mindful manner.
Yeah.
Because, of course, we have needs, we are humans.
Yes.
We will be using things, we will be eating, we'll be living in homes, we need shelter. But you use it in a way that you do not damage your resources to an extent that you cannot go back.
Yes.
That would be the true sense of sustainability.
With the growing times and the age and time we are in, we see buildings around us, only
Everywhere,
buildings around
yes.
us, and architecture is, and in that sense, I can architecture around us.
Yes.
So for future, I think sustainable architecture is going to play a major role in making sure that nature is not harmed.
Yes.
So what are the basic steps that people who have already built their homes or their buildings can take, and people who will now be doing so can make sure that that happens and they are not harming the nature as much as they were?
Okay. So, as the architects call it, built environment.
Okay.
So, built environment comes with your landscape, it comes with your community who's using that built environment. So, first thing first, if we can imbibe, if we can have certain set of values, of certain set of pointers where a community guidelines can be given, that okay, you have to use electricity in this manner or use the ACs that are more efficient,
Okay.
then those guidelines will help you. Now, in built environment, the most common thing is for homes. So that's where a person starts thinking, okay, that is one part of the space that I'm going to be in. So, while designing homes, if people are designing houses, one thing, only one thing, if you could take care of, that sun rises in east and sets in west.
Yeah.
That is universal truth. That is not going to change. And the solar heat and light are the biggest factors of energy usage that happens in the house.
Yeah.
So if you create your shell in a way that you protect yourself from the temperature, but you get the light in right way.
Yeah.
For that, again, if you go to Indian science of Vastu, that is basically solar science.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a standalone house, use Vastu principles properly. Your house would become energy efficient.
Okay.
Get light into the center of your house, it will become better. Make a shell so that you protect your house from the right angles. So in summers, you have your protection. In winters, you have verandas and terraces where you can sit and take the sun.
Yeah.
Use it intelligently and create that kind of envelope. And in addition to it, now we have so there is IGBC, Griha, all this. They have given you pointers to take care of while designing your place. Use waste materials if you can. Use materials that are very local and nearby, so that you are not putting energy into getting that stuff.
Yes.
You are getting
Less carbon
furniture from
emissions.
Italy.
Yes.
Don't do that. Use things that are near you. अगर आपके पास अमरूद उग रहा है तो अमरूद खाओ. That would be easier.
Don't import avocados.
Yes, and at the same time, right now, we as architects, as the sustainability is the buzzword which we were talking about, we are, of course, this opportunity is created by us only by harming the environment, but still now there's an opportunity to experiment with materials, to experiment with the language of building. So it becomes more intelligent.
Okay.
We can do that. There are programs. So then we go for the bigger structures that architects are building. Here we can employ all those techniques. We can work with sustainability experts and create buildings that generate their own energy.
And
So
they, so you're talking about using waste materials and things that are around us.
Yes.
So are those waste materials have the same tensile strength or are as effective as the originals or
Yes.
people,
Yes.
the materials that we import?
Yes. So the people are making bricks out of the stone sludge. We are in Udaipur. So much stone quarrying is happening.
Yeah.
बहुत सारा sludge पड़ा रहता है. You must have seen lakes of white powder dust. We are using them to do plaster of our buildings.
Okay.
We are doing in resorts. But that same thing can be used. It's easily available to us.
Yeah.
And it is good. उसके ऊपर paint भी नहीं करना पड़ता है. झिक्की का काम करवाते हैं हम लोग. So use those things. If you could use lime wash, if you could use non-carcinogenic paints in your house, that will help. Small steps will help. If you want to do everything, give time to it.
Yeah.
Then you can do everything. But even if you don't have time, you can do 2 to 3 things in your own home, which are more sustainable than yesterday.
Yeah. And कितना cost effective होता है? Because a lot of people think कि यार ये जो सारी चीजें sustainability के नाम पे या फिर nature के नाम पे people are green building के नाम पे लोग sell कर रहे हैं या spend कर रहे हैं. Those are very heavy on pockets and common men cannot afford it, and that is why they go for something that is more cheaper and at the same time harms the nature more. So how cost effective is that and how easy it is for common man? Because अपनी जितनी population है, common man अगर use कर पाएगा, that is when it is that effective, right?
So for that, so sustainability money wise, the research and the mind that goes into it will have some cost.
Of course.
Because somebody who is working on it, he will take a fees from you to give you a sustainable home.
Yeah.
Now, every building has 2 type of cost. Capital cost, capex, and operational cost.
Okay.
If you put a little bit more money in putting that DGU, then your operational cost will reduce.
Okay.
If you are making a home. So, वो balance हो जाता है. Your AC bill will be less. Your electricity bill will reduce.
Yes.
If you make a smaller window in south direction, it is going to impact. It is just the mind that is required and sometimes the material that is required. But overall, when we calculate the ROI, it is cheaper than making a non-sustainable building.
So it's like basically you are investing in the right direction.
The math has to be done.
Yeah.
That is the whole thing.
And does the shape of the buildings also changes when it comes to sustainability?
Everything impacts the shape, the size, the scale. Everything will have an impact on how your building is going to perform. If you see God created us, हमने कुछ डाला है. Same way, if you are creating a building, the type of attributes you give to the building will impact its function, and that in turn will impact the sustainability.
Okay. Also, a lot of people say that we are not reusing, like let's say old furniture or old artifacts or whatever, because they do not depict the class thing, and we want to live a lifestyle that gives a certain type of things. So, would you advocate using refurbished furnitures or artifacts or whatever in a way that it also adds to your class and at the same time adds to the nature? Or would you advocate buying new things? Is that an alternative to buying new things?
Reusing. So when we talk about sustainability, if we can reuse the buildings which are abandoned, if we can reuse the spaces which are already created, that is best. And there is no such thing as not having class in old furniture. It is probably more classier than what trash we are making today. You go to places, old forts, like you go to Falaknuma Palace in Hyderabad. They have a 100-seater dining table. The furniture is as classy as it can be. And the amount of effort that has gone into doing that wood carving, you cannot even imagine it with machines also. So just because you cannot do it, that doesn't mean it is not classy. Refurbishing can come out really well. You just have to, in fact, the material that the quality of material that was used in the earlier product, it was much better than what we are getting to use today.
So I remember my grandmother used to tell me that the dining table शीशम के पेड़ के उसकी बनी है. And I was like, okay, now when I go and buy
नहीं मिलेगा.
नहीं मिलेगी, plus वो
so heavy
into
on your
10
pocket.
times into 10 times cost हो
And
जाएगी.
then you get a fake.
Yes. So आज के time पे is it okay, like is it not, I won't say okay, but is it sustainable, or is it a good call to buy wood products that are not made of like the good trees, but are refurbished and are made in the right manner?
It's always a good call to use any product which can be used, which has still life left in it. It's always a good idea.
And as an architect, what advice would you give to people who have already built their homes? The changes that they can still make to make sure that they are adding to the sustainable nature, and people who will be building homes now. Just a few things to remember, at least if you cannot do the entire thing, just remember the few things.
So sustainability is more about ideology.
Okay.
And I have seen people who have curtains drawn in their homes 24 hours. They don't even open windows, but they're apt to turning on the light.
Yeah.
So change that. Open the curtains, open the windows every morning. Let the air come in. Use less of lighting. Use task lighting. In your home also, it doesn't need to be Diwali every day. You can use task lighting. Your countertop can have different lighting. Your study table can have different lighting. Din ko din rakho, raat ko raat rakho. You can do that. Don't get used too much to AC 18 degrees centigrade. We are from Rajasthan. Live on 30 degrees centigrade. Put your AC to 28 degrees.
Yeah.
I fight with my son every night because I wanted 28 and he doesn't. But he will learn.
Yeah.
And probably he might not. But still I will try. I'll keep trying. So even if you have a home built, see if you could add screens. Jali jo hamare yahan hote hai, you can add that if you are getting excess light from some direction. You can have green walls to create the microclimate where plants will give oxygen to your place. You can have indoor plants. You can use paints that are non-carcinogenic. So many things. It's endless. Even if the house is, everything can be done.
And one thing about ThirdSpace that you think is like top notch when it comes to sustainable architecture. Like I know they have no AC in the building and it's self-cooling and self-heating. So something that you think is like apart from the rest.
It's not the space, it's the ideology that I would say is commendable to firstly think of a space where the whole community can come together and think towards a brighter future. This is not a place where you are, just killing time.
Yes.
You are advocating for a future. You're advocating for leaving a better future. You are not just selfish to think about yourself. So the ideology of having a place which can inspire you to think in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's what matters. And of course, they have made it brilliantly. That's also good. That's amazing.
So thank you so much, Priyanka, for taking the time out
Thank
and
you.
giving us insights about what should be done. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Same here. Nice conversations.
Thank you.
Always.